You've been really, really busy. I'm going to rewind. I'm going to start by rewinding 20 years to Coyote Ugly, the epic, the cult classic, Coyote Ugly, the film.
Such a fun movie.
You were just 17 when you were part of that movie right there, but you, to sort of honor the anniversary, you've released a new mega mix of the songs that you you wrote for this film.
Yes, this movie is so nostalgic for so many people, and the 4 songs, actually Diane Warren wrote the 4 songs for this film, and I got to record them, and I think the music and the film both are so nostalgic for people that we decided to do a dance mix of a mashup of all 4 of the songs.
Which is so fantastic.
Yeah, like people are jamming to it. They love it so much, which I love. So it brings a lot of joy to people's lives during this time, you know? I think people need to get up and move and feel good, so.
Well, I'll tell you what, it is the most fun song to work out to. So, you know, if you haven't heard it yet, I highly recommend you download it. So, okay, here we are, 20 years later. It's only fitting that 20 years later, in 2020, we should do a reboot of Coyote Ugly. And I know that you have some ideas on the cast and maybe how it would go.
Well, I mean, I haven't like put a ton of thought to the storyline yet. I just know it needs to happen. It really does need to happen. And I don't know whether I'd come back as, do I come back as myself?
I kind of think you do.
Somebody else? Like as a character? I don't know. I don't know.
I like that. I like the ones where you catch up with the characters in the past and keep everybody there. I would love to hear what but listen,
it'd be really fun.
It's the time of reboots, right? So this would be really genuinely, it was such a popular film. It's the perfect time to do it.
There's so, ever since it's been out in the world that this may happen, so many people are dying for it to happen. So I'm really hoping that it does. We're working on it.
Oh, it's going to be
fantastic. Good for you.
Yeah.
All right, well, like we mentioned, you were just 17 when you were part of that. And then at the time, you already had 2 Grammys, I believe. Flash forward in the business, doing incredible things for several years. And then you decided to take a little break and work on probably the most important, definitely the most important project in your life, and that is yourself.
Yes.
You really did. And it really turned into some beautiful, beautiful things, some great projects. Tell us about them.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Well, yeah, the day after my 30th birthday, I actually checked myself into a treatment facility for anxiety and depression. And I've been very open about that because I think there's such a stigma around that needs to be shifted. And so, yeah, to be a voice for that is super important. But these last several years, I have kind of a toolbox that I tap into. My spiritual practice, and chanting has been one of those. And you know, I sing all the time, but this was kind of a way for me to take my voice back for myself because I've given it out to the world so much. So through my chanting practice, I started to get these downloads during meditation of I wanted to create a chant record to make chanting more accessible for people. And so that's what I have done. It's called The Human and the Holy. It's completely different. I was actually listening to it on the way here. It's so vulnerable. It's so vulnerable to put myself and my voice out in this way because it's not just a regular full record. So I hope people find their own voice within this. I hope they sing along, play it in the background. Like, you know, we're so programmed by everything that we listen to and watch, and I wanted to put something out in the world that programs people to remember who they are.
When you create something like that with such good intention to benefit others and to help other people find sort of the peace within, it can only have a good effect. I mean, it's so true. And tell us about the podcast, too, that you have.
Well, so I have a blog called Soul of Everly, and the blog and the chant record, it all kind of started accumulating into other different ideas and ways for me to use my voice. And I am going to be releasing a podcast called Holy Human.
I love that.
So yeah, my whole journey has been about coming back into wholeness, and I think it's so important for all of us to find our way back there. So yeah.
Right, to find your way back home.
Absolutely.
Which is right here, and with your beautiful voice. Oh my gosh, I mean it when I say you have the voice of an angel. And that chanting is something that's so spiritual about it and really kind of vibrates inside of you and brings your vibration back to you.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because the way I created the record was literally through meditation. I would sit down in meditation and start singing, and then once something came through that felt right, I would just press record, and then we created it from there.
Incredible.
So literally came through me.
And I bet you sobbing.
Yeah, oh my gosh, so many times. Even listening to it on the way here, I was crying. I highly do not recommend listening to it in the car. You'll chill out so much.
Right. You'll
Wait,
forget.
am I driving?
Or you're going to be crying and people beside you are going to be like, what's wrong with her? Why is she crying?
I gotta say, I'm a daily meditator, and I have been for many years. One thing that I don't do is in my meditations, just break out into song, though.
Well,
just want you to know that.
You need to try it.
You'd be surprised.
You might be just
I don't
moving
think so.
into a new
I love
level
that that's where your meditations take you. I'm probably going the other direction.
Listen, you have every area covered. You have
Yes.
music, you have movies, you have meditation, you have mac and cheese and your man, just like you told us earlier. So we spoke a little bit earlier about your movie, It's Christmas Eve, which is going to be re-airing later on this month. It was such a great movie. We all love it, and that's why we're going to keep airing it over and over. But there was a central theme in this movie that was really super meaningful to you.
Yeah, you know, I feel like the blended family, the step family, you know, side of things isn't really discussed too often. And, you know, my love interest in this film, he was a single dad to a young daughter. And so, you know, that whole love story sometimes can get a bit complicated, as we all know. And so I wanted to put a beautiful spin on it. It was important to me.
Yeah.
As being, you know, as a stepmom myself, so.
That's right, and
Such a
having a
good
really
point.
great stepdad.
Yes, I have a wonderful stepdad and stepmom, so yeah.
And something that so many people out there can relate to and appreciate to see and be embraced like that.
That's
so
right.
Good job. Because oftentimes, if it's included in projects, it's not in the best
the
of light,
afterthought.
right?
Yeah,
It's the afterthought,
yeah.
or not in the best of light
Completely.
sometimes as well.
Yeah, we have definitely painted that picture in a very skewed way, so I wanted to change that narrative for
Good
sure.
for you. Now, speaking of family, you know, Eddie and I used to hang out back in
I
the day together.
know.
How's it doing, the family? I know you guys are big into Christmas.
Yes.
Coming up, and so how are you spending the holiday this year?
Well, we just started putting up our tree last night.
Oh, I
so
love it.
I know.
Did you really?
Yes.
You beat us.
I mean, she's part of the Hallmark family. She can't not put the tree up.
I talked him into it.
I love it.
Yeah, I needed some joy, you know? I think
Don't we
we're all in desperate need of the holidays this year, but yeah, we're going to be just chilling with family in sweats. I mean, this is the most dressed up that I've gotten in months.
And doesn't it feel a little awkward?
It does. It feels strange. I put heels on. I'm like, how do I walk in these things again? I don't remember.
Well, you're welcome for that.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
It's not normal.
It will
not
probably be one of the last times I dressed up too this year, so it's all good.
Oh, we're
There
so
you
glad
go.
you did it for us. And
Yes.
listen, you have a fan club at home. You have a fan club here at your home and family home.